I'm Terrence, but most people know me as CØMPLY. That's like what I publish art under.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm one of those people where, like, you know, if you don't really know me or what I'm about, then like you kind of gotta do your research.
Can you kind of give us like a in-depth of like when you started? How did you come up with the name? What was like your first drop? How was it received?
Yeah, so I started CØMPLY when I was about 16 years old. I needed to do something creative and I wanted to be a part of something, but I didn't have anything that I could necessarily attach myself to.
Mm-hmm.
I just created my own stuff. And when I first got into it, I was pretty insecure because I never wanted to make any like chump ass shit.
Yeah.
And you know, early on you have to go through, you know, whatever it is for you that's not great. For me, it was like heat pressed t-shirts, drawing on people's shoes, and you know, a lot of not so well produced clothes. But eventually, you know, while sticking to it, I got pretty good at what I do, and I got into like screen printing and sewing, and I put all my skills together, and now I'm able to make what I feel like are really nice pieces.
Nice. What are some of your most notable pieces throughout from beginning to now that you are some of your favorites?
Some of my favorites, definitely the red bandana, as well as the Malcardi all over print pants and tote bags. Those were absolutely insane. And I gotta say the puzzle. The puzzle was one of the most fun things to make.
And how did you come up with the idea of a puzzle?
I'm really inspired by this guy Blasey, and he made a Grand Theft Auto map themed puzzle, and I really loved the idea, but I thought that the box could have been better. And I was like, I can make a better puzzle box than this. Why not?
Nice. And what inspired the specific design for that puzzle?
I had this idea of these skaters running from these aliens who are coming down to abduct humans, and in the distance you can see a police officer who is chasing those skaters now being abducted. And I pitched that to my buddy Sean Tonimo. He loved the idea, and we got working on it.
Nice. And with CØMPLY, did you have any other names in mind when coming up with the brand at first?
I can't really remember any. I feel like it's always been CØMPLY, and once I figured that out, I've been sticking with it.
Do you see yourself maybe coming up with any other brands outside of CØMPLY, or you think just sticking with that at least for now?
Honestly, as time goes on, I crave, you know, difference more and more. So I'm always going to be doing my CØMPLY thing, but I have so much more creative energy that doesn't necessarily fit the direction that I've paid for CØMPLY. And I would love to start a sub-brand. I would love to work on other people's brands too. And I feel like I just have so much to give more than just this bubble I put myself into.
Anything that you like any projects that you would want to do in the future that like, you know, maybe like work for a bigger brand, any specific brands you would like do creative direction for, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to be moving to California pretty soon, and I would like to keep my, you know, options open because I don't want to miss any opportunities. But ideally, I think like some dream brand work would be for like FTP. I think it would be cool to work for a holiday brand. Thinking of some others. I'm kind of drawing a blank right now, but yeah, honestly, like I said, I want to keep my options open, and most people who run brands that I appreciate do it on such a small scale that like I feel like there's not much room in the team for a third person.
Right. Would you see yourself, what kind of, I know you do clothing, when designing the clothing, what is your role in CØMPLY? As far as like, do you do graphic work? Do you hand print them?
Yeah, I pretty much do most of all of the creative direction. And my buddy Adrian Gomez, man, he really holds the digital media side of things. So he will make sure that all the product photos look great. He will make sure that the lookbook shoots and everything are running smooth. And outside of that, I make all the clothes. You know, I plan it. I source the blanks if we're using blanks. I'll sew the materials if needed. And yeah, I'd say that I am like the soul heart of CØMPLY. Like it's my brainchild.
What's your favorite like medium when working on a project for CØMPLY?
Um, Definitely printmaking. I like screen printing a lot, and I feel like whenever you run that final screen through, or even if it's single color, like just the process of designing, exposing a screen, all that stuff. I feel like that's number one for me. I also really like hopping in like Photoshop and Illustrator and like fleshing out a graphic that I have in my head. Being able to bring that to life effortlessly without having to go through any like, you know, design burnout, I feel like it's key for me. I hate sitting down trying to cook something up without a clear vision in my head.
So in the beginning process of trying to create like imagery for maybe a piece or thinking of like promotion, what does your creative process look like when starting out?
I think that it's different from time to time, but most commonly, I have an idea that I feel like I absolutely need to flesh out. And it always starts in my notes app usually. It can be a single word or it can be a sentence. Whatever it is, it'll, spark this thing in my head that makes me want to put all my, get gas into the project. And then I normally figure out, well, what do I want to produce? What do I want to print on? What do I want to make? And I start figuring out how much it'll cost to make it. And then I figure out when I want to put it out.
So it varies from project to project.
Absolutely.
One more. All right. Is there anything? Is there anything you like the people to know about you that they might not know if they don't know you personally?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that a lot of people have no idea what I do or who I am necessarily. And the best way I would describe myself is someone who makes clothes and loves music. And I'm starting to make music. I'm very humble, and a lot of people seem to be intimidated by me, which I find insane because, anyone who knows me even a little bit knows I'm the nicest person. And I like to help people, reach their potential or even view their potential. I think that's so important because if I had more of that, when I was coming up, then who knows where I would be right now.
Yeah, that's great. Well, that concludes our questions for the day.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Sure. Thank you.